Yeah, we are live on YouTube.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Gokul sir. Good evening, students. We hope that you all have got the link and have started joining in to this live YouTube session. The team SIP welcomes you all to Diksharam, the student induction program for all the FI students for this year, 2022 and 2023. We are incredibly proud and honored to have this session, and we hope that the enthusiasm and the excitement with which we have put together these sessions is the same from your end as well. Before we proceed with this session, I would like to welcome Dr. Ashok Wadia, our principal, to share with us a few words and initiate and commence the student induction program. So, over to you.
Thank you, Radhika madam. Um, this is the first of a kind, but I'm glad that we are doing it. Now, students, you have heard my orientation and you have seen that Jain College believes in the values. At the same time, I know that you are coming from the cultured family. So that means you respect the values and you believe in them. What just now Radhika madam mentioned is this is related to Diksha, you know. And Diksha word, if you see, is very closely associated with Buddhism. Of course, it is also with the Hinduism, but now both the Diksha, that kind of things in the later stage it was done. So when any kind of person who acquires the knowledge, they have been given this kind of a Diksha. In other words, what we are talking about is that the students who are joining Jain College not only understand the Jain College but understand the value system. Now you will say, sir, you already spoken at the orientation. Now what more is there to learn? Thing is that I do not know. Unfortunately, this entire event is online. I would have preferred it offline to actually have the interaction, direct interaction with you. So, what are the values? And which are the values which we consider are significant, important? And why the values are required? There could be many questions which could be put. And suppose value system doesn't exist, then what? The world will be still there, right? But if you look at it, even the value system is existing, not only human being, though we use the words, but if you observe the nature, everywhere you will find a value system exists. If you watch carefully the birds, you will find they do interact with each other. Of course, their language is something, unless somebody carries out the research and understands, to know like, okay, this particular sound means this particular signal. So they have their own society and they follow that particular value system and they follow that entire thing. If you have seen the crows sit together. Watch from your house at the evening time. It is like their school and they interact with each other. Of course, for us too, very difficult to decipher. The birds collect the food, and if you have seen that, they give it to their young ones. Okay, you must have seen the photos, young ones opening their mouth and they are fed by their parents, meaning is the mother as well as father. They collect that food and give it to them. So learning from the nature, even you talk about the plants, the way they grow, what has come to the mankind is a society. If you consider the Mohenjo-daro, the first civilization, if you talk about, There was a proper planning, and though the literature is not available, but looking at the organization system, they were following certain things. Whether you talk about the cleanliness, you talk about the system, to the proper way of organizing the houses and everything. Now consider the human life and think about it like as a student, what is important to you? You will say, yes, education is important. I want to acquire the knowledge. Now, who will give you that knowledge? Your guru will give the knowledge, means your teachers. Just imagine that if your teacher is biased, or teacher decides to give you certain knowledge but keep certain knowledge with himself or herself, what will happen? So, what is the role of the teacher here? The teacher should be the one, unbiased nature, should be giving the education. Whatever the knowledge the teacher has will be sharing with all the disciples, isn't it? And what will be the role of the students in that case? Suppose the student takes the knowledge. I'm using the word knowledge and not the information. Please mark it. And if they acquire this knowledge and then they don't use it rightfully, what will happen? The knowledge purpose is lost. Just like teacher could be biased, giving it to one disciple something and not to the other. Do you know the story of Mahabharata? In Mahabharata, you know that Pandavas and Kauravas guru was Dronacharya. And he had promised that he will not impart his knowledge to anyone but only to these students which have been given to him by the king. So only he will give it to Kauravas and Pandavas and whoever other kings which have been and their children. And then in the picture came the Eklavya, who wanted to acquire the knowledge but he was denied. He was, if you use the Sanskrit word, it's Nishad. He was a tribal king's son, but he was not permitted. Dronacharya refused to give him. What did this Eklavya did? He still considered the Dronacharya as a guru, and he learned the archery. Now Dronacharya had given the promise that he will not teach anyone. And one day in jungle when they had gone, where this Eklavya was to practice his archery, was keeping Dronacharya's statue, which he had made himself as a guru and doing it. When he did that, when these people came, their dogs, because they had gone for the hunting, the hunting dogs or the hunters, when they were following, the dogs went barking. Eklavya sent some arrows and shut the mouth of the dog without hurting them. This skill, when it was seen, Arjuna said, that is Dronacharya's guru, that is, you had promised that you will not teach it to anyone, but this is has a mastery on the archery. And you know the story that Dronacharya, the guru, and what to keep his promise, he asked the thumb of the Eklavya. Now, if you look at this particular story, there are so much of the value system which is there. And Dronacharya, without thinking, Eklavya without thinking, cut his thumb and gave it to Dronacharya. Now consider about the value system over here. Who is right and who is wrong? Whether Dronacharya should have done that? It was the right thing to do. Whether Eklavya did, that was right. Whether Arjuna's, that was right. But they followed what was promised, what they had done. Dronacharya believed in what promise he had given, he had to maintain that, so he had to keep that. Eklavya believed in the value system of what he has promised to the Guru, he has to give that Guru Dakshina. Problem here is that in the society when we live, we understand the values which are necessary. As a student, there are many values. When we meet, that time we'll have better discussion because I would like to interact. At this stage, I'm just considering the story which I told you. Take it home and think about it. Who's right, who is wrong? The answer is everybody is right in their way, and they were following a certain value system. To keep the society in an organized manner, the values are very important. So, how will you define the values? How will you consider that these values are something which you need to imbibe? Of course, from the childhood, you have learned many values. I mentioned about the respect. You have learned, you know that how to give the respect. At the same time, you know that respect has to be earned. So you talk about the respect in a different context. You also know the value system where you have to be honest. But I just now one incident happened where you will find that the person has to tell, as you say, the white truth or white lie to protect something very important for which he has been kept. I would like you to attend these sessions which have been specially organized. There's a lot of efforts which have been taken by Madam and also the Firdaus Madam. Anamika Madam, unfortunately, is not well, but I'm sure that once she joins back, she will also impart. And many other teachers who will be talking about it. So, my role over here is not to preach or teach or anything. What I told you also is not that I'm promoting or telling you that this is the value system you have to adopt or anything like that. But I think it's very important that we must question ourselves, our conscious, also to introspect and ask ourselves that everything we do is right. Is it related to the value? So ultimately, the answer over here we should have is whether whatever we are doing is harming anyone, or we are actually doing something for the society, or we are just considering, like, talking about the values and learning over here and then forget about them. I know it's very difficult to consider that kind of life of saint. So we many times may be breaking certain rules. But whether you are really in a true sense, understand this. So I know that all of you follow the value system. All of you are actually coming from the cultured family. So what is that we are supposed to teach? So it is not a teaching. Rather, at this induction, we will be talking about the value system which is already embedded or imbibed by the Jain College as an institute. As an institute, Jain College practices certain things, and we have to ensure that, as per our mission, our students should be good citizens, good leaders. So, if you are going to be good citizens, then what is that which we require to be the part of the society? What is that required to take care of the nature? There are so many angles which are there which you need to look at. At the same time, when you say leader, which kind of leadership you want to perform or carry out? Whether you will be inclusive, whether you will be up in the front, or you will be just ordering and call yourself leader. There are so many aspects over there for the leadership. So I suggest to you that this entire sessions which will be there, every session there will be some kind of takeaway. Not my session. This is not a session. I'm just expressing my the ideas which are coming without touching the value system. Let me tell you that. I'm just preparing you mentally to be open to the ideas, understand what the every person wants to tell, and then come up with something. And we will be very happy that this induction program also not only inducts the students but helps the Jain College to make or develop a more stronger system which will be completely embedded in this. So your help is required. You have to be more proactive. You have to be more uh, suggestive, understanding, clearing doubts, and coming out of this institute finally, as our mission says, that we want to produce good citizens and leaders. So you will have those kind of qualities to be the true leader, not just leader in that sense, political or otherwise, but the one who will take care of this society, who will take care of this environment. In other words, globally, you will make that kind of impact. So, this entire exercise which has been carried out, there are many things, angles. Be honest, be part of it, and let Jahin College learn from you. That is the reason today this particular process which is been organized will be talking about it. They told me to speak about the values. And though normally at the orientation and otherwise I normally talk about various things, I have decided not to, because I felt let us first learn from the value system what our students understand. And after that, we can also see that after the sessions are carried out, they should tell us or give the feedback that okay, that this is what our beliefs were, these were the values which we follow, we learn this, these are the things which should be which are important and we should emphasize. So as a student, as a learner, okay, I'm sitting here in front of you to know from you your mind, understanding, because students, you are not knowing this, but when we talk about the student centric approach in Jain College, whatever activity or what are the things which we normally do, we always take the students' opinion. Even the courses which we launch, we always ask the students that how they will benefit from that. So there's a lot of learning, and as the time is changing, you will find I get worried because of this social media and the impact of that. But I have true belief in my teachers as well as in my students that the value system which is there of the Jahin and also coming from your family will be so strong that you will be able to not only survive, but you will keep the society intact. So, thank you very much for the patient listening. I am your student, and once we have this kind of interactions and your feedback, there will be a lot of learning. And I would like to interact personally, offline at a later stage to understand from you your views and would like to implement them because we believe in that the learning from the student needs to be implemented. So please remember this entire process of induction is not like say to preach you and tell you these are the values, you must follow this, you must do this. No, not at all. We want to believe in the beliefs, your belief, what are the things which you consider strong, which are important, and if you have to change, then yes, change is must. I believe in that, and we will change accordingly. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I think it sets the tone for our entire student induction program. And we have whatever you said, I think, in so much more greater detail. And we hope to implement all of that, and not just in the next few days, but I think it's something that the students will eventually interact and grow and evolve with in these 3 years of
We
college and
will
even
also
after
grow.
that. Yeah,
I
of
agree
course,
with you.
definitely. I
We
think with
will grow
every
in this
batch. Sorry, sir?
because this is we will also grow in this entire process because I don't believe that I know everything.
True, sir.
I don't believe that, and I don't also want to say that I know all values and I practice them.
True,
I'm
sir.
honest with myself. Okay, maybe that is one of the value, but let us honest with our students and let us go together and learn from each other. I
For
think
sure.
because students of the Jain always keep a strong bond with the Jain. They always are connected and come back. So if we have to maintain this bond, then it is very important that we have to listen to our students also. So
True,
that
sir.
is the reason I wanted to give a single message rather when I spoke about all these things. I want the freedom, students should have the freedom to express and to discuss and to talk with us. Otherwise, it will be like, you know, we induct and we say you have to do this only, and then you will find that will not work. Let us take the things and learn from even the students. Let us have it both ways, give and take. Understand?
Sure.
So, Radhika, I'm glad about you, Firdos, and unfortunately, Anamika is not well. But taking this initiative, I'm connecting with the student and bringing it to this level. I'm sure that you will bring the success out of it, and student also will enjoy it thoroughly. Because
Surely, sir.
ultimately, whatever learning should be a fun. And
Yes.
then definitely we will, as I promised, that we will make the changes as per the suggestions coming from the students.
Surely,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you so much for joining in, sir. So, as Sir has already talked about, we have a fully functioning SIP team working on constantly trying to improve the content. We will learn from your feedback and we'll try to incorporate it to the best of our ability. And it's not just for this SIP, but even with every class, with every lecture that we take, we also get to learn so much more about how to approach things from your point of view as students. And at times, there are perspectives and views that we are also not really familiar with. So it's a learning process. It's something which it's not just the students responsibility to learn, but even as teachers we constantly try to remain flexible, keep open to new ideas, and thereby learning becomes such an interactive and an engaging process. So it's with this idea that we have Diksharam, which is the student induction program that we have initiated from this year onwards. As most of you must have joined in and have understood about it, we have discussed this in class also from time to time, hoping to familiarize you with what the student induction program is. It is something that we hope will get all the FIs together, and it's at such an important point because we know that we are also returning to completely offline ways of functioning processes. There was a gap in interaction between juniors and seniors, and after a long gap we have now all come back with great gusto, and we hope that the student induction program will only make you feel prouder of being a Jehindite and connect with your seniors, your teachers, and develop that sense of community. Before I begin with my presentation and take you through the student induction program and what we have in store for you, there is one pre SIP form, a survey kind of, that we would want you all to fill in. Okay. Now remember that this is not a graded activity. It's something that we want to encourage you with to look at your own self. Try to understand your own self, your own tendencies, reflect on the questions, take your time to answer it. Don't be in a rush to respond, don't be in a rush to write something. The point is to be honest with your own self, as sir suggested, and mention how important it is to do that, because you spend most of your time with your own self, right? Your thoughts, the actions that you do, all of these are related to the way in which you understand your own self and the people around you. So what we have done is we have drafted some questions, and what we want you to do is take your time reading those questions and think about it. Are you choosing because it's the right thing to do, or are you choosing because that's what you would have actually done? If you think that it won't look good on the form and I need to choose this, then it's not the right way to go about it. That means you are not being honest with your own self. It's important to look into your own selves and think, if I was in such a similar situation, what would I do? What would be my natural response? And then accordingly respond to that given question. So I'm just sharing the link of this particular form with you. It will come to you on the YouTube stream itself. It's a Google form. I would like you all to open it and take the next 5-10 minutes to fill it. Okay. Take your time, be honest, be present. Some of the questions have choices, some of the questions would require you to type in a response. As I said earlier, this is not an exam, this is not a graded activity, but this pre SIP form is very relevant. Okay, it's very relevant. It's something which is an important part of the Diksha Ram. And once you're done filling in the next 5 to 10 minutes, I will explain to you why we wanted you all to fill this form and what role does it play in the entire SIP process. So, with a clean mind and a fresh perspective, please start filling in the form. I will wait for you, and I think around 5 or 6, 7, I would begin with my presentation. Okay, please fill it. You will notice that it will ask you for some details: your name, your class, your email ID, your division, your class division. Please ensure that you fill in these details accurately and correctly. If you have made an email ID for college related purposes, it would be best if you fill in that email ID. If you haven't yet, then you can fill in the ID that is most accessible to you, that you use frequently, but ensure that it is correct. The form link will be sent to you. We're just sending across the form link to you. The form link must have reached you. Please start filling in. As I said earlier, this form is very relevant. If you read through the instructions, you'll have to fill in your details carefully, and all F5 students from the aided, unaided section all have to fill it. I'm just waiting while you all are filling it. Like I said earlier, if you have opened the form, you will see that there are some questions which are on the basis of a range, so important, not important, neutral, etc. And there are some questions that would require you to reflect and add in. It is pinned on the chat box if some of you are facing difficulty finding the link. Please check the YouTube comment section, it's pinned right at the top. So the questions that you will notice are they are related to your own self, how you perceive your relationships, how you understand the nature and the world around you, and something very basic about what exactly do you do in order to work towards your community, your society. And it may be related to all the work that you have done in the past few years, and even if you haven't done anything. Okay, not all of us have the time, the opportunity to work towards the community, towards nature. It's not always possible. So it's okay, be honest about it. There is ample time and scope for you to do things in life. Okay, so some of you may have already started filling the form, others who haven't, please start. We'll wait for another 2 minutes. And this pre-SIP form, please note, will remain active till the end of this session. So please ensure that you submit your response before the session ends. I repeat, it's not something that we would be assessing. It's to help you all understand your own attitude, your own perspectives towards things in life that we often get so used to that we stop paying attention to, right? The nature around us, the people that we live with, that we interact with on a daily basis, your own ideas, your own thought patterns. I hope most of y'all have started filling the form. While you're filling the form, I think I can also proceed with just a general introduction of what the Diksharam is, the student induction program. Uh, Principal Sir has already spoken to you a bit about it, and we will only pick off from where he left it. So Diksha Rang students is basically an initiation, okay, towards learning, and it indicates this beginning of a new journey, right? Most of y'all either have been a part of the college since junior college and are now entering degree college. Some of y'all come from different states, backgrounds, etc. But one thing that is common for all of you is entering this new phase of life, right? Being a young adult, um, becoming of age to even vote. It's going towards new responsibilities. It's trying to understand, what do I want to do when I pass with a degree? Do I want to study further? Do I want a job? If yes, then what? There are hundreds of questions that I'm sure run through your mind on a daily basis, and that purely indicates that you're moving towards a phase of life where you would be exploring the answers and the possible solutions to these, right? So Diksharamb is, it basically indicates that starting point, that initiation towards this new journey. And especially as a college student who's now coming into degree college, I'm sure you have a lot of hopes, anticipation, and coming from the pandemic, post pandemic, the excitement towards offline learning, activities, interactions, that excitement has for sure heightened, right? We really like the buzz around the campus, meeting our friends in person, going to the canteen. I'm sure you have created these scenarios in your mind, of what college life would be for you. So Diksha Ram, as at the student induction program, is basically this term. It's a term which implies that it's not just about studies, it's not just about exams, but an overall wholesome, holistic development of your mind and your body under the guidance of the guru, right? As soon as we come back from the Ganpati break, we have Teachers Day, right? The 5th of September. So, why do we celebrate it? Why is it such a special day which is celebrated and enjoyed by teachers and students? Because it's such a special bond and a relationship that we share. That we meet each other, there is teaching, there is learning, and like Sir pointed out earlier, it's not always one way. For us, it's also very special when students teach us, not just in terms of technology, not just in terms of newer ideas, but also something as simple as how to be humble. How do you take care of your friend? How do you nurture the mind on a daily basis? Teaching and learning goes both ways, right? So Diksharam indicates this sense of a union between teaching and learning. And the student induction program, which we have curated and designed, it aims at helping you as FY students understand this transitory phase of life, okay, from teenagers to now adults. Things change, things have changed for you overnight, and they will continue to change and evolve and develop in the next 3 years that you would be at Jehan College, right? So the student induction program helps to build this sense of foundation and helps you to connect with your peers, your teachers, try to understand what basic value systems are already embedded within you, what do you have to work on, and what are the possible ways in which you can work on them. I repeat, these value systems need not be explored only in the next 3 4 days when we have these sessions. These hopefully will create an inspiration and a foundation for you to keep learning about yourself in the years to come. Maybe 5 7 years later you would be reminded of something that we discussed in the course of this SIP, and you would smile to yourself and think, oh, I was such a naive person back then, and look where I have come. So the student induction program helps you to reorient your own understanding of yourself and understand where are you starting from, and years later maybe you will look back and you would be like, I have come a long way. right? So the SIP and the learnings of the SIP is something that we hope you would remember at different stages and phases of life, and you would think back to it. Now, why are we doing this? Okay, why is Diksha Rang and the student induction program something that we as a college and as a team have worked for you as FI students? Number one, exploring your values, ethos, interdisciplinary learning, the bond between teachers and students, all these are very critical values and the ethos with which Jehin functions on a daily basis, right? And AICTE and the governing bodies also recognize the need for such an induction program to be embedded in all colleges in order to help students familiarize themselves with this new college and the institution that they have become a part of. So the student induction program and the vision with which it was created by AICTE and all the governing bodies that added to it, it's very closely aligned to the mission and the vision that we at Jain College have. Okay, like sir mentioned earlier, to create good citizens, to create good leaders, those who would take care of the world around them, and nurture themselves, nurture people around them, and move towards employment opportunities and becoming wholesome individuals. It's the same kind of vision that the new education policy also has. And we thought that what better time to initiate this particular process and this program than now, when post the online and the pandemic era, we are again now meeting each other and interacting. So we thought this would be a great time and a great opportunity that we should not miss to interact more with our FIs, to help them understand Jahan College better, the teachers better, help them get connected with their peers, and thereby, hopefully, in some way, the process of becoming comfortable with the college life would be made little simpler. It was with that attempt that we brought on this particular program. So, what to expect in the SIP, right? The pre survey form that you right now filled, that pre survey form is not just giving us an idea of who all are actively participating in this particular SIP, but it also gives us an idea of you as a batch, right? As a cohort. All of you are part of various streams. There is FIBBA, there is FIBA, BCom, BSc, and several others, right? And we all are very important, special part of the Jai Hind College student body. So we want to understand you better, right? Is there anything particular that this particular batch has in mind for themselves? Is it something to do with your particular batch as a generation? This SIP form will hopefully give us an idea about you as a batch, okay, about you as an individual. But very importantly, the form hopefully will make you pause and think about you as an individual and you at the threshold of starting your degree college. And what we aim to do, maybe in the near future or maybe even later, if you go back to this pre SIP form and you track whether you still have the same responses to those questions, it will give you an idea of how your experiences, your college life interactions have had an impact on you. When you fill and submit the pre SIP survey form, you will get a copy of your response. Okay, on the email ID that you fill in, you will get the copy of the form on your email ID. Okay, the entire form, the question, your response, everything. So that copy will be safe with you. Every year, every few months, maybe when you revisit this form, you will think, why did I write this? Maybe I should have written that. Oh, why did I note this? It's no longer not important for me. It has become important for me. That's exactly how college life often shapes you, because it's not just advanced learning, it's not just a deeper interest and an understanding of your core subjects, but also the interactions which shape you at times without you even realizing it. Sitting in the class, listening to the teacher, you and your friend are also involved in the same process of learning. And at times when you help your friend, you crack a joke, you laugh together, you share your tiffin, you learn about your classmates, you interact with your teachers, you participate in competitions. All of these aspects of college life impact you without at times you recognizing that impact. But years later, or even a few months later, when you look back, you realize, wow, I did not know that I am constantly being molded by the people around me. Maybe I too play a role in their life. And thereby, you start also caring about the impact that you make as an individual on different groups, different platforms, so on and so forth. So we urge you that when you get the opportunity to create an impact, to mold or help a friend, to share your learnings and experiences, do grab it. You never know who might find you as an inspiration, right? So the pre-SIP form was circulated, and we expect you all to fill and submit it, keeping that in mind. It's not just for information and attendance of of the session, but it is also to help you understand your own self in a meaningful and a reflective manner. So, what to expect in the SIP? The pre SIP form gives you quite an idea. Basically, throughout these sessions, you will have teachers talking to you on through online mode, through the offline mode, and we have a range of topics that we feel would be interesting to all the FI students, irrespective of their stream, irrespective of their subjects. And the focus is to try and understand me, myself better, and the world around me. Okay, it all started with Principal Sir's orientation. Okay, Sir also mentioned it that he has spoken to you a lot about ideas similar to this, ideas emerging from this notion, and he's discussed them in greater detail with you during the orientation. Your SIP journey actually began with the orientation, when you came with your loved ones, your parents, your guardians, and you came, explored the college campus. There was excitement, you were really thrilled, and eventually you said, okay, maybe next time onwards I can come by my own self. And thereby you took ownership of your college life. Right? So the Principal Sir's orientation was something which started off this journey of the SIP, and so oriented you all to the college's history, the various processes that we have, the exam process, the credits process, the subjects. He introduced you to the cell societies, etc. And I'm very sure that after the orientation, you were extremely excited to start lectures soon, because as even as we were walking from in the campus from one building to the other, we had FY students, their parents eagerly meeting us and asking us, ma'am, so when are the college lectures starting? And that excitement and that eagerness is infectious. It's something which we definitely missed in the past 2 3 years, and it was so heartening to see this batch of students so eagerly waiting for lectures to start. So that orientation was the starting point of your journey in the SIP. And if you'd see, the next stop is the introductory session, which we are having right now. So even today, I had so many FI students coming in and asking me, what is it going to be about? Do we need to do something? Is it going to be online? Is it going to be offline? And then I hope that we are answering some of your questions right now. So the introductory session that we are having right now today is getting you familiar with what the SIP is and what are the expectations that we have from you, and maybe what we will also take in information about what you expect from us, okay, as teachers and as a college. So, post the introductory session, we have the session on self. I will also project the schedule for you all over here, which has been circulated, but for just viewing and just taking down in case you have missed it out, I will project it in the next slide. So, the session on self that we would be having, we thought that it would be nice to start off with you as the individual, and then expand the scope of exploration and learning. So we start with the self, right? Me, myself, I. What do I understand about myself as a human being? What kind of responsibilities do I have? What kind of value systems do I have? um, am I a person who thinks more? Am I a person who feels more? Am I an organizer? Am I a healer, a helper? um, do I tend to behave in a certain manner in some situations? Do I react in certain ways to other situations? What are my tendencies, right? In what ways am I capable of maybe becoming an entrepreneur? Do I have it in me to be a team player? There are so many endless ways in which we can understand our own self. And let me tell you, the SIP is just the beginning of it. Okay. There is no way that we can learn all about ourselves, be it overnight, be it in a week, or be it in a month. It is a continuous process. Okay, at every point and every situation in your life, you would be required to think about your own self, yes, but also about others. So naturally, your own idea about yourself is also going to change. So how can we just create a session and say, okay, after this, all the students are going to know themselves absolutely in and out? Not possible. But we can definitely try to start that conversation, right? At least try to think about it. At times we find no fault of us, but maybe when you think from the other person's point of view, or you look at yourself from an outsider's point of view, you realize I could have maybe responded differently, right? So that starting point of reflection is extremely important, especially now that you're in college, because every project that you have, every assignment that you have, every internship that you make is going to now have an impact on the real world, on real people. It's going to help you grow. But if in that process you are also helping others, then it's such a satisfactory, such an inspiring feeling. And we want you all to enjoy that. We want you all to experience that good, nurtured relationships. And all of it starts from knowing your own self. Okay, so the session on self is something that would be conducted by a number of teachers, okay, in separate batches, as the schedule also indicates. We also plan that keeping in mind that every teacher, every class can have a very different idea of their own selves. So we have left it open for teachers and students to explore these ideas in manners that suit them the best. So you can expect discussions, you can expect quizzes, you can expect activities, maybe watching a short film, responding to it. Every teacher may have designed the session on self differently, and it might take the course of its own, because every batch may also respond to the session in a different manner. So the session on self will be conducted offline in certain batches, and the schedule for that has already been sent to you. So you can check, okay, if I am in, say, FYBA division so and so, what date and slot is that session on self for me? And the teacher in charge would be conducting it from a different and an open perspective. Okay. The next session on family and society is something where we would be looking at basic values that often shape our relations and our interpersonal communication. Okay, so trust, respect, um, love, affection, care, value systems which are so simple, but when you actually realize it, when you actually try to interact with others, you realize they can be quite complex, right? For example, you may be intending to do something good, the other person misreads the situation. Then what do? Does that mean that you don't respect them? No. In that moment, it so happened that the communication sort of faltered. So there are various ways on a daily basis too that our value systems are tested, that we are often forced to think of various ways in which we may have been wrong, but that reflection is also extremely necessary. Um, Society too, for instance, when you think about it, you're driving in a car, you're on a trip, and you're happily singing, eating chips with your friends, your family in the car, how often do you notice someone rolling down the window and throwing the empty packet of chips outside on the road? You are keeping your immediate area clean, but at the cost of what? Right? So it's not just the impact that you have on your immediate surrounding, it's also taking care of the kind of society, the kind of nature that you're leaving behind you, and how it is going to also be at times inconvenient to another person, right? So all your daily actions, all your choices can have an impact on your near and dear ones, and the society is also at the end of the day a part of your social interaction, whether you realize it directly or not, right? And when I say society, I mean the socio-cultural context, your immediate locality, the people around you, who may be strangers, but yes, the actions that you do may have an impact on them. So we'll have a session on family and society, and we would have an expert over here. It would be an online session, who would explore this topic in greater detail, and has designed the talk, keeping in mind you as FY students and the college too. Okay. The next session on nature and world is basically trying to help us to understand what role do I play as an individual, especially an FY student who's maybe now just turning 18, has recently turned 18. What role and responsibility do I have when I'm interacting with nature? When I'm talking about nature, I mean all the environmental resources and the trees, the mountains, etc., that I have around me. um, what role, what do I do in order to preserve that nature, right? Do I violate it? Most of us would say no. But every time you switch on the AC, every time you choose to use a vehicle instead of walking, you are contributing to that, right? But at the same time, it's not always possible to give up those. So in what ways can you strike a balance? What can you do in your own capacity in order to preserve and conserve the nature around you? Sometimes even reflecting on it can also help you to make certain alterations, certain changes in your life, which will bring you closer to the nature, right? We all often go to the mountains, go to the beach, and when we want to take a break from our busy lives in the city, why do we always resort to nature? Why do we always like it when we are sitting across the sea, the ocean, and we start reflecting on philosophizing life? Why do we do that? Because nature has that calming effect. It always has been an important part of human lives, but in recent times we have been forgetting that a little. So how do you reconnect with nature in your own way? That's something that we would be discussing. And the world, I mean, how am I a responsible citizen on the global platform, right? I mean, be it with communication, be it with technology, or the national, international opportunities that I'm sure you all will pick up, you will have these chances to create an impact on the global level. Okay. Don't think that who am I to do that? You never know. You may have that opportunity. So, how do you understand yourself and your role in the global context, right? When you're representing not just yourself as an individual, but maybe your nation, maybe your college, your community, etc. So as representatives, as responsible citizens, what role do we play in shaping the world around us? That's also something that we would be looking at. The concluding session, which would be after the Ganpati break. It's on 6th. That's also an online session where we would be taking stock of all the learnings that and the experiences that you had in the course of the SIP, and we'll discuss also what's the road ahead, right? As sir mentioned, the SIP doesn't just conclude with the concluding session and that's it. No, there is also post SIP reflection, which functions on maybe a couple of levels. Number one, We want you all to continue reflecting. We want you all to imbibe and inculcate certain values and basing human etiquette and value systems. Even after the SIP is complete, we want you all to not just imbibe it but also practice it. Secondly, we also want to have certain post SIP, hopefully offline sessions, so that we are not divided by screen and we can actually have interactions and continue this roadmap of reflection and evolution even afterwards. And please remember that the SIP is not just in terms of you because you're an FY student. It's because in the course of your FY, SY, and TY, I'm for sure know that you will notice a difference. I was just talking to a student yesterday who is also going to address you shortly about her as a student, because I still have her name saved in my phone as FY and FYCR. And when she's now in TY, she's still in my phone. Her name is saved as FYCR. But when I talk to her, I realize that here is such a mature and a responsible person who I can rely on, not just in terms of a teacher student, but also in terms of an ally, someone who I can rely on as a friend, a well wisher. And that transition happened in 3 years. So I spoke to her and I asked her what brought on this transition. And she said, ma'am, it's something that I will discuss on in the session with the FIs. So just wait, and she would be meeting you soon. This is the this is the schedule which we have already shared with you all. You will notice that one schedule is for the aided section and the other is for the unaided section. Please note that there is no major difference. It is only in terms of the offline sessions that we have different faculty members and different schedules for the aided and unaided section. All the online sessions will take place together. Okay, just like right now you all have logged into the same link, it will all be pretty much the same. Okay, in terms of the mode of conduct, but the reflection on self is something that we would be discussing in separate batches. And we hope to bring a variety and a range of perspectives towards viewing your own self and understanding your own self. This schedules have already been circulated on your student groups, so you have them handy. You can have a look in case there are any changes, right? Sometimes last minute, or if there is any glitch or if there's any issue, if there's any change, then we will make sure that you are notified of it in advance. Okay, now comes an important part. Okay, you have to maintain an SIP journal. This is not going to be a journal which will be tedious, which you will spend a lot of time curating and designing, etc. It's going to be a diary of sort, but a digital one. Okay, and we have kept it very simple and straightforward, so that you don't waste too much time in downloading softwares or having to face issues in terms of technicalities, etc. We've kept it very straightforward and simple. What we want you to do is, and if you're on the laptop or even if you are using your phone, you can use Google Sheets or you can use a Word document right now as I speak. Please do that activity from at your end. First step: open a Word document, a blank Word document. I hope you all are opening it. Open a blank Word document, and before typing anything on it, save it as your full name underscore or space class underscore or space SIP journal. So for instance, I will also show you a template later, but as I'm just narrating the instructions to you, you can do it at your end. Your full name, your class, and SIP journal. So if I were saving it, it would be Radhika Rajwani underscore fy whatever underscore sip journal. Okay, please ensure that you write your full name so that we, when we save it from at our end, we have it all. Okay, on the very first page when you have saved it, write your full name at the top of the page, your class and division. Okay, let me just show you an example. Give me 1 second. Here, just a second. I think it's not maybe visible to you. It is okay, great. Thank you. So you can see that I have saved this as a template for my journal if I was also maintaining it. As you can see, the document name, it says Radhika Rajwani underscore FIBA. I just took it up underscore SIP journal. Okay, so I have just saved it as my document. Save it in a place where it's easily accessible to you. My name, my class and division, and I have noted down the date of today's session, and I have also noted down these two things, question and response. Okay, basically you will be maintaining this particular journal for all the sessions of the SIP. Okay, all the teachers might give you a question that you can think about and you can add to this particular journal, or you can even use it if you yourself get an idea. I was just thinking about today's session and this is something that I thought of, and you can jot it all down, use this journal to note down your ideas. Okay, so why do we need this journal? Because towards the end, again, it's not something that we would be grading. It's self exploration, so there is no right or wrong about reflection and ideas. You will note it all down, and towards the end, in the concluding session, like I mentioned to you all earlier, post the Ganpati break, that is, we will be collecting this journal from you. Okay, we would be circulating a Google form where you would be uploading this Word document, not for us to read and to know your thoughts, etc., but because this is important from the point of view of certification for this induction program as well. And this journal is something that you can also continue to maintain at your own personal level. So that you may have submitted it, yes, but it is something that you can continue to maintain, uh, to add and reflect on various things in your life. Okay, it might be in digital mode, but even post the SIP you can work on this, maybe using a book and a diary as well. Okay, now comes an important part. I'll go back to my presentation. Just a second. Here, now comes an interesting part. You all must have made the journal while I was discussing, right? I have posted a question for today, for right now. I want you all to read the question carefully, think about it, and jot down your ideas in the journal that you have freshly maintained for the next 5 minutes. Question for today: which film, book, TV series, any media content gave you an idea about how college life would be? Okay, we all love watching films, TV series. We have read scores of books, and many of them give us an idea of what college life would be. We, as kids, we are always so curious, right, to know what would exactly college life entail. Would it be fun? Would it be exciting, challenging? And many books, films, etc., create that aspiration in our mind, right? So, what was that book, that film, that TV series that gave you that idea? And why is it memorable to you? Think about it, reflect on it, and elaborate it in a few lines in your journal. It's okay if your if your language is not all grammatically correct. It's fine. As of now, just try to think about what was it about that particular film, about that particular book, that really enthralled you, made you feel, wow, I really want to go to college right now. So you have some expectations, so maybe these films, these books sparked that interest in you. So think about it, and I'll give you 5 minutes, maybe 4 to 5 minutes, to jot it down in your journals. And then I'll also share with you which films made me think about college life when I saw them and when I was an aspiring student. Okay. Please do maintain the journal. You can use a very basic font, Times New Roman 12 is fine. You want to add pictures to it, etc., based on what the uh, the speakers ask you to do. You can do that as well. In fact, there might be a couple of sessions where they would ask you to maybe make a poster, maybe make some illustrations, and you can add those to your session brief as well. So that journal is yours. It's a reflection, it's a mirror of what you are thinking, what you're responding to. And you can use it throughout this SIP to jot down your ideas and your thoughts. So feel free to do that. Think, which book did you read that maybe had characters, maybe had situations that got you excited about college, that you thought, okay, maybe people are like this in college, and what would I do if I was in that situation? Would my college also be full of activities? Will I also be a popular kid? Will I win prizes? Will I have achievements? So many a times books, films help us with these ideas and thoughts. So which was it for you? Jot it down in your journal. And the reason why we say pause is also because usually our lives are quite fast paced. We go to college, we work, we are busy, we come home, we rush for activities, projects, assignments. But taking that pause to reflect on your state of emotions, your state of mind, thinking about why something appealed to you, why something bothered you, can really help you understand yourself better. And even the content that we consume, I mean, we live in society in an era which is all about social media. So why do I consume the content that I do? Why did I like this series on the OTT platform? Your likes, dislikes, your interests also help you understand uh, what and which phase of which point of life are you at. So it's something that can help you explore yourself and your ideas to a great extent. You can write a few sentences, one paragraph, couple of lines, pointers. It's your journal. point is to get your thoughts down on paper, then it becomes real. So while y'all are drafting it, I'll also share from my end what made me think about how school and especially college would be. When I was young, I really liked reading Enid Blyton's books, and one of my favorite series was The Mallory Tars. Um, Many people, many readers have often thought of how Mallory Tars um, sorry, creates this expectation about boarding school and etc etc. It was quite idealized, but as a young child I did not understand romanticization of reality or things like that. I didn't understand that there would be challenges, there would, the real world would require me to think and choose and act. But as a child, I found those books so beautiful. It made me appreciate my school a lot, my friends a lot, and it made me feel that, like me, there are so many others out there who are also facing the challenges of school, of education, of academia, and moving on. As for college, I mean, there are so many films, Bollywood, Hollywood, etc., that touch upon all these various these phases and stages of college life. But I recently saw this one song, and it made me realize that I hope many of you all might have seen it. The film Main Hoon Na, yeah. It did make me think about, oh, is college life so easygoing? Oh, will I meet such different varied kinds of people in my class? Are the teachers going to be like that? And it's much later that when I reviewed the film, I realized it's good as a film, but maybe I can't always keep it as an example of reality. So books and films, TV series. There are so many TV series now that talk about college life, high school life, on Netflix, Amazon, etc. So we are surrounded by content, and it's also, your own likes and dislikes that also determine what you look for in that content. And the content that you see also influences you in many ways. So if you pause and reflect, why do I like seeing this? What made me think about this? It will also give you an idea of what is important to you and where is there a scope of growth. Okay, so that was what this exercise was about. And I hope at your end you have jotted down a few lines about what content inspired you or created that excitement in your mind towards college life. I'll proceed. Now comes a very important part. What is the student induction program gearing up towards? Okay, why is it so important? Why is it that we feel that all FYs would benefit from it? Number one, interdisciplinary learning. Okay, interdisciplinary essentially refers to learning beyond your streams and your subjects. Okay, so when you meet students from different streams, when you interact and meet teachers of different streams, you get an understanding of how the world functions from different perspectives, right? For example, when you look at the rain, okay, when it's raining, someone from a particular point of view would find the technicality of rain, right? How the weather functions, how it leads to evaporation, why does it rain, how does it impact the earth. Some would have a philosophical way of looking at it. Oh, it's so beautiful, why does the rain make me think about different aspects of my life? You have a literary point of view towards things. So things around us can be approached and understood from a variety of perspectives. and we want to encourage this interdisciplinary approach to life and learning, so that you are not just bound by your streams and your subjects, and you understand that you as a person and the world around you is so wholesome, so holistic, and you are a part of something which can be looked at from so many different angles, right? So interdisciplinary learning is something that we encourage at Jai Hind College. I mean, you have so many activities that also take place on a daily basis. Eventually, you've just started college, but once you are more involved in all the societies, the cells, the committees, you will notice that there are activities that and that enable you to make friends from people across the stream. You may be a science student who would get to participate in an activity about a subject in arts, for example, and you get to meet people who learn from you, who you can also teach a thing or two. So interdisciplinary learning really helps you to learn from your peers, from your juniors, your seniors, across all streams, and really create, blurs these demarcations that we have created in our minds about certain subjects, certain ideas, etc. So we really want to encourage this interdisciplinary approach to not just learning, but also your overall life and your perspective towards the world. Now, to to exemplify, okay, why the SIP is relevant, and why we feel that students are such an important part of our college setup, we also have with us three students who very happily agreed to interact with their juniors, and are over here as proud seniors and Jahindites who wish to share their experience with you. So, as in how I'm explaining the relevance of the SIP, I would also invite the students and get them to have a free conversation with you, because these are students that you would also meet in college. These are also students who you can also look up to, and we are incredibly proud of all the three of them and are very happy to have them here with us. So the second relevance of the SIP is self discovery and identity construction. Okay, the activities that I just did with y'all and all the discussions and the sessions that we will have henceforth, the focus would be to get you to understand yourself as an individual. Okay, and as a college, as an institution, we really recognize and appreciate each individual student for their uniqueness. We want them to be distinctive, we want them to feel proud of who they are and showcase their talent, not just in college but maybe the world over. Okay, so the self discovery and identity construction, which you have already started, yes, but now when you're entering adulthood and you will have to do a lot of adulting, uh, it is something that you need to be sure of. You need to know who are you as a person and where do you see yourself in few years. So we hope that the college would play a role in helping you discover that. So, to elaborate on this from a student's perspective, I would like to introduce you to Miss Bhavna, who is a TYBA student right now. And I have known Bhavna from FY. She has been a part of our college right from junior college. So Jehind is, something very special to her. And everybody is fond of Bhavna because she's so friendly and is so comfortable helping out her juniors. You might have even met her during the admission process. So I would like to invite Bhavna, if you're here, for you to come forth and share your experience with the students without thinking that here we are here, etc. It's between you and your upcoming juniors. Okay, so I hand it over to Bhavna. Just a second, we would just bring her live. Hello, Miss Bhavna
Uh,
Ramchandani. Very happy to have you here. The stage is all yours. Please go ahead with sharing your experiences of self discovery and identity construction. And I wouldn't want to introduce you further. I'm sure you have a lot to say to your juniors. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Radhika ma'am, and I'm happy to be here. So, hello everyone, a very good evening. My name is Bhavna Ramchandani, a young passionate student pursuing Bachelor's of Arts in Psychology and an aspiring criminal psychologist in the future. Jai Hind College, where I have spent 5 incredibly fulfilling years of my life, starting in the 11th grade FIJC and will finish with TYBA. My time in college has been delightful and inspired and sparked in me a blend of intellectual activities and curiosities balanced by a strong desire to enjoy my work with all the extracurricular activities. Coming to Jai Hind was completely a new experience for me, and it was a new environment for me where I learned new things and faced many challenges. My BA years are very challenging not only academically but also due to the abundance of extracurricular activities I am surrounded with since my FIJC. College life exposes us to new experiences and things that we are not familiar with earlier in our life and teaches us how to live with it and go along with it. When I first joined Jai Hind College, I was a student who thought that I will just attend my lectures and then directly go home and repeat the same routine every day. But Jai Hind gave me the exposure and the opportunities to try my hands on different things that can make me learn new things and how to balance them all together. And it also helped me in knowing and developing my personalities in different ways. From being a student to a CR to a council member and the NSS General Secretary to the supervisor of council. Jai Hind has molded me in ways that I could never imagine of being. The college has given me opportunities to prove myself in ways that are extraordinary to think about. It has made me find such great qualities of me and helped me in nurturing them. Being the class CR of my class representative of my class from the FIJC till my current year TYBA has made me take opportunities and challenges in a way to accomplish them. My life in Jai Hind is very different from how it was in school. College has taught me how to socialize, form my own opinions, and made me more confident and composed. During my first 2 years of degree college, which were online due to the pandemic, I was elected as the CR, council representative, and the general secretary together, which were new challenges for me to accomplish them along with my academics. And being a Jahindiyite I am, I have the dedication it has taught me towards my responsibilities and duties, those ethics and principles that I have, made me accomplish all my roles towards college and academics successfully and effortfully. Being in college with so many responsibilities and duties has taught me how to balance my academics and extracurricular activities together. My heart really blooms with joy, and there is always a smile on my face when someone compliments me on how I handle every given task to me with perfection, be it academics or the extracurricular activities or any given task. Because it always makes me think of the Bhavna that I was 5 years ago and the Bhavna that I am now. Because in school, I was only academically active and would not participate in anything at all, but look at me now. I am in so many positions in college, and even if I'm given multiple tasks to complete simultaneously, I will be able to do it because of the experience, challenges, confidence that I have got throughout these years being in college. The faculty and the teaching and the non-teaching staff at Jahin, as you all know by now, has always been there to support us and help us in achieving our dreams. The wonderful teachers spark such a desire in all the students to dream high and to foster them, and they provide a platform to guide the students not only to excel in their academics but also in the other extracurricular activities by encouraging the students to be a part of it. And we, the seniors, are always there for you whenever you want us to guide you. You will always find us somewhere in the college. So just approach us whenever you feel like. And I would say, experience the joy of learning. To experience the joy of learning, come to Jahan College. It only happens here because it is a place where you learn, perform, make friends, and experience everything all at once. Regardless of where life takes me, the 5 year journey that I have at Jai Hind College will always have a special place in my heart. And being a part of Jai Hind has been an enriching experience, and I have memories that would last a lifetime. The bonds that I have in college will always stay with me forever. With the teachers, friends, non teaching staff, they have always been there for me. And with the teachers and the non teaching staff, I just feel it is not a student and a teacher bond. It is something more than that, which I can never ever express in words. Because it is a feeling and emotion that I have in my heart and which I always feel when I talk about them, like how Radhika ma'am also said. And I would like to say, enjoy your college life completely and take the opportunities you get during the journey because they will help you in molding yourself to a better you. And your personality will be molded in a completely different you that you can never imagine. And to end with, I will always say, remember our motto, I will and I can, because it has inspired me to spread my wings. Thank you.
And we are incredibly proud of where you are right now, Bhavna, and where you will go ahead. I would also like to take this opportunity to share an experience of interdisciplinary learning and interaction. So for the longest time, in when we were in online mode, I did not know that Bhavna has not taken the subject that I teach. And it was only much later when I sat down to do the CAs, etc., that I realized that she was not on her roll call. And that's when I talked to her. I said, "You're not in, you haven't taken this subject." And she's like, "No, ma'am, I have never taken this subject." And I said, "But I kept sending you messages about my classes or notes or interactions, etc." And she said, "It's okay, ma'am. I know all the people anyway." Which made me also think how beyond classrooms also how friendships and interactions can take place, and it's so important to thereby create relationships and create foster and nurture those interactions beyond just your study related or exchanging of information basis, right? So we are very happy and proud to have you here, Bhavna, and all the students, I'm sure at some point in this year you will interact with her. And we it's very nice that the bond at Jai Hind between seniors and juniors and students and teachers too is something which is is so open and liberating. Okay, so thank you so much, Bhavna, for coming and joining us here. And I'll see you in college tomorrow.
Thank you so much, ma'am. See you too. And see you
See
all,
you.
everyone, DFIs.
um just a second, I'll go back to the window to my PPT to take you through the relevance of the next point, which is familiarity with the institution, okay, and towards a holistic development. Now, you will also notice that many of these points are overlapping in nature. Now, when you're talking about familiarity with the institution, like I mentioned earlier, you when you're coming to the college as students, you might be running about here and there. Where is 2B? Where is this class? Where is that class? I remember one student standing, coming out of the lift on the second floor and asking me, "Ma'am, where is 7B?" And I said, "On the seventh floor." And then that moment of realization struck him, and he just giggled and walked away. Because when everything is so new to you, it seems very big and very intimidating. But as and when you make friends, you make memories, you have classes, you become familiar with the institution, not just in terms of the infrastructure, but in terms of what is important in college, what is the value and the ethos of the college. You become one with the entire college, right? You become Vijay Hindite. So familiarity with the institution is also something that we hope we will cover in some way or the other through this SIP. uh, to talk to you about how this familiarity helps you not just in terms of when you're in college, but even afterwards. Okay, after you graduate, after at some point, how does the college and its learning come back to you is something that we would like to hear from Rishabh Cheda, again a student who I had the opportunity to interact with in the FY, and when in TY he became the general secretary. It was an incredibly proud moment. And now Rishabh is studying at IIT Hyderabad. Okay, so he is an alumni, and he's someone who we are very proud to have with us over here. And we would want him to share his experience of the college, of his interactions with the college, and what does he think of, when he's now a part of some other institute and is studying ahead. So, Rishabh, over to you.
Yeah. Hello, ma'am. Thank you so much for that introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm not here to bore you, but I'll just speak a few words what I've experienced through the 3 years being in Jain College. So, initially, something wasn't planned as to I want this college. I don't know, but during the admission process, just to give a context, I did my BSc in chemistry from Jain College. So I just like went for the admission and just got in and like let's get into pure sciences. And initially, like everything, as when you come to a new institution, is new, and first year is for everyone. Like even you will experience it as to you will see so many student bodies, so many clubs. Like for every interest that you have, you will find a club is there. So in first year you'll be like, huh, this club is there, okay, I'll join this is there, and like you will be really enthusiastic to to join everything. Like as many people call it, like we are enthu cutlets when we join an institute. So it's not something that I'm making fun of, but I would really encourage everyone you to keep that enthusiasm and do everything. And as you will progress, you will start filtering out, you'll yourself figure out as to what is that that I want to do, which club or which body that I want to represent. So for me, it was nothing but the student council. Even in the first year, I had joined many clubs, like it be NSS, be it SDU, or be it student council, everything. So, but over the years, I even got to know what I wanted to do, and even my second year, I was also and the wellness cell, which also promotes mental health awareness and many other aspects of it. So this is what I wanted to do, right? And mainly I wanted to do something for my classmates, for the students. So this is where I resonated, like I want to be in the student council. So this is where I gave my 100%. So I would just suggest every one of you that whatever you're doing, like anything, maybe you're trying something new, or maybe you're already like in a dance club or anything, give it your 100%. At least at the back of your mind, if you don't want to continue, you can tell yourself, at least I gave my 100% and it didn't work out. Fine, let's focus on what I like. So give your 100% everywhere, nothing else. And now many of you who are coming from different colleges, like those who are in-house students know the institute, but those who are coming from different colleges, you might have noticed like comparatively our campus is a bit smaller. But I would you really tell that don't take it as a drawback, but consider as a very bonus point, as to when the campus is small, you see many people every day. Like you almost from the watchman uncle to the top floor of your building, you will be greeting minimum 10 people. Like that's the fun part of our college, is that you get to see what's happening around the college, what's happening in the classroom. So this is really a bonus factor, as to you are in a close community and you really feel alive when you are in the campus. And speaking of the opportunities that the college has gave me, is really everything that I wanted. So uh, I have been more academically inclined, but so I'll just speak towards that. So my professors, my seniors, my teachers, they have, whenever I approach them any problem or any guidance, they are there. So I would say that if you are really keen or really eager to do anything, help is there, and there are people to guide you. But you need to find that out, and it will it is a natural process. It will come to you. You'll yourself figure out, who I should be looking up to. Or for me, at some point, it were my teachers, it were my mentors, and general secretary of the previous year of the student council. Like it was Mohit, Hassan, and even my teammates. Like Bhavna is also my teammate. So these are the people, that always kept you, like motivating you. Like, yeah, you have to work for these people, or at least they have given the best advice that you could get. So find the right people, and you will, in Jain College, you will get those right people. And in terms of opportunity, like in terms of cultural events also, I really see, like it be SDU or it may be literary society, any society will give you the opportunity that you are looking for. So just go try it out. Like even if you fail, don't be afraid. Just go, because it is a platform where you can experiment. College, junior college is a sorry, degree college is a place where you can experiment. Try everything and fail badly, I would say. So you will learn more. And yeah, I mean, coming here, like in IIT, has also, it makes me proud really from where I'm coming. When I interact with other people from other stream, as to what it has made me a very confident speaker, and a very humble personality. And also when I was in the wellness cell, it really opened my mind as to what mental health is and how do you keep care of yourself. So apart from being academic inclined, like having a science background is okay, but it made me introduced to so many things that I feel really proud from where I'm coming when I see my peers here, and what do they lack and what I'm not lacking compared. So I'm really, yeah, really proud of the institution, what it has made me, and I'm sure it will also make you the person that you want to be. Just don't hold back. Give your 100%. Fail badly, not academically. Um, don't get in the wrong context. So not academically, but yeah, and just yeah, and lastly, be kind, be humble, and be kind. That's one of the thing you, as a human, everyone should be. And I think everything you want, you will get it. Thanks.
And Rishabh, I have to say that you practice everything that you have spoken. I mean, I'm seeing you speak right now, I think, after 4 years, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because I met you all in offline mode. We had our classes in FC classes, and then we had the online mode break. And then now I'm seeing you speak. I still remember the presentations that you all had given on the great leaders or something
Yes,
like that.
yes, yes.
And I think you have come such a long way, but that has remained consistent of you, in terms of being there for your classmates, taking the opportunity to raise your hand and give the answer or speak out whenever you have the chance to. So we are also extremely proud of you, and thank you so much for coming on board for this to interact with your juniors. Hopefully we will have a time too soon where we can do this offline as well. Maybe you would have to take a short gap from your studies over there
Sure,
for a
you're
couple
always,
of days
always there for the
and
college.
come to address your juniors again. So thank you
Always.
so much, Rishabh, for joining us.
Thank you.
um,
Thanks for calling me.
and I'm sure you are also serving as a role model to many of your juniors right now.
Me too.
So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Rishabh.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
um, I will then proceed towards the last point in the relevance bit. Just sharing my screen. Yeah. Inculcation of basic human values, and all of this is geared up towards holistic development, right? Inculcation of basic human values, I mean, this is something that we start right from childhood, but often as life progresses and things get more complex, we are left in a conflict as to how to act. What should I act on? What is this honest, is this dishonest, etc. But if you try to situate yourself in a context where you try to think of how your actions impact others, um, you as students too can make a difference. Okay, and you are important and significant contributors to our society. And all that you learn in college, all that you experience, you can share it on several platforms in order to create awareness, in order to make this world a better place to live for all those who are concerned and even future generations. And to share that part of the college, how you're learning, how things that you experience can help you make a difference. We have with us again a student from our TYBSC, Yuvika. And Yuvika has been a student who has represented the college at a national platform. And she had the opportunity to talk about climate change, and she grabbed it with both hands. She said, I need to make use of this opportunity and share my experience and my perspective towards it. So, how did she prepare for it? How did she make use of that opportunity? Is something that she wants to discuss with you all. So, Yuvika, I would really like to invite you here.
Hello.
Hi, Yuvika. And it's over to you. Please go ahead and share your experience. And how did you feel as a student, who has the opportunity and is equipped to make such a difference? Go ahead, all yours.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Yuvika Nathavit, and I'm in my third year studying microbiology, holding an ardent fire for always exploring new things. The research field of sciences was always like an inherent choice for me. So, from an early age, I've been exposed to the diverse cultures of India since my dad serving the army. So, I was always inclined towards nature and animal welfare, as I also feel those who teach us about humanity aren't always humans. Jai Hind gave me an opportunity to speak about something that I'm very passionate about on a national level. So, this experience was very enriching in terms of knowledge acquired, and it also made me realize that there's always a chance for improvement. And these values gives us a perception of the world. And there are so many things that comes to one's mind when we talk about climate, especially when it's respect to India's current scenario. And as we see the seasons change, the impact of a worldwide climate crisis can be felt all over the world. Experts also keep talking about how that there's a need for a plan in order to save our country and the world from these adversities for the sake of our future. But the focus on conserving our future is so great that we forget that we also need to think about our present. So I'd like to keep this short, and I would just like to say that in this fast changing world, I think it's very important for us to talk about issues like climate change, because as big changes begins with small talk. So I hope you all have the best 3 years in college and make the most of it. Trust me, you're going to get many opportunities to participate in many events, and you'll get a lot of exposure here. And I think college is going to be one of the most best times of your life, and also the first time you're going to be left alone to experience new things. Trust me, teachers are going to be there, everyone's here, they'll take care of you. And so some of these experiences are obviously going to be good ones, which you will cherish for life, and others are going to teach you valuable lessons. So just know that things don't change, they remain as they are, and it's you who has the ability to change and grow into something better. And I hope you all do the same. So, yeah.
So mature, Yuvika, and something that it's such so inspiring to hear, students who not just understand and are sensitive to things around them, but also want to talk about it to a larger audience. Because, like you said, it's something, if you want to make a change, it has to start somewhere, right? And maybe those beginnings might not always be as ideal as we expect them to be. But even in those obstacles, I'm sure in your preparation too, you might have faced certain challenges, you might have faced moments, or can I do it, should I not do it? And those moments might have made you sorry, stronger. And perhaps now when you look back, you feel, I'm glad that I pushed through it, and I've learned something about myself, and I use this opportunity to apply my learning. So really, thank you so much for joining us. And students, You have such amazing seniors who are there to help you, who are there to guide you, and who better than your peers to help you through the challenges and the expectations of college life, right? Which is why we thought that if you have some familiar faces now in college, it will not just make you feel that you belong, but it will help you create that social circle and that support system that is such an important part of college life, right? So your studies, your interactions, your learning, applying those like Yuvika has in competitions, internships, work, it all goes hand in hand. And as they have exemplified that it's not just about taking part in fun activities, but it's about learning about yourself through things that will challenge you, right? Taking on responsibilities that at some point you may feel you can't do it, but later you realize, I'm so capable, I can do something that can impact so many people at the same time. So be open to taking on responsibilities, be open to protecting your the nature around you, the world around you. And we hope that this entire student induction program will just make you aware that these opportunities are all around you. Okay, and we hope that you will use these opportunities to the optimum level. So thank you so much, Yuvika. I will go back to my presentation and proceed to the last segment of our session for today. We are releasing a Mentimeter link to you. Okay, when you click on that link, it will take you to a question. It will take you to a question, and you have to reflect and select in an order. Okay, one being of maximum importance and five being of the least importance. You can arrange those options in the order of importance. The question is, what are you most excited about for your first year in degree college? Okay, you have five options. When you open the Mentimeter link, you will see, you will be able to choose and arrange those options in the order of importance according to you. And as in when you're submitting it, from my end, I will get a live poll. And the result of that is something that I will share with you all on screen. Let's see what is important for your batch. And let me tell you, it might not always remain like that. Eventually, with experience, with interactions and classes, that order of importance might change. So I want you to submit your responses and remember those. So when you think about it later, you will be able to understand, oh, did I I thought I wanted this, but maybe it is changing. I can see some responses coming in. I will share it with you while you all are responding. Please check. The more you all add in, the more that you participate, those results will keep changing. Let's see what. Oh, very nice. Let me share my screen to the results. Just a second. They are loading. this is the result of your batch's importance, and I'm very happy to see that in order of importance, the first thing that most have kept as top priority is learning about various topics and new skills, then understanding friendship and the importance of bonding. Very true. Learning from your peers and interacting with new people, making friends, expanding your social circle, creating a support system, pursuing internships, projects, and applying my learning, which will be possible through your internal assessment, yes, but also in terms of internships that you pursue or responsibilities that you take up, the projects that you manage, taking on responsibilities as part of student council, class representative, etc. I'm sure our students here who just spoke to you all also maybe motivated and inspired you. Participating in cultural activities, and lastly competing in sports. And I'm sure when you see the number of activities that we have in these areas as well, more and more of you would also be inspired to participate, try out. You never know, you may be good at those. Okay, so remember your options, and hopefully it might change, it might fluctuate, but it will help you hopefully learn a lot about yourself. So, in the order of importance, we saw learning of new skills. Then we have making new friends, understanding friendship. We had taking on responsibilities, applying those learnings, and eventually also participating in cultural activities and sports activities too. So, through this introductory session, I hope it has set the tone for what to expect in the upcoming few days of the SIP. Please note that the SIP, that is Student Induction Program, Diksharam, it has been the schedule, the poster has already been shared with you. The links for the upcoming online sessions would be shared with you eventually on the day or sometime before the event and the live streaming. You had an example of that today, so please join in. And we would also be doing discussions, activities. You would be getting questions to reflect on, and I remind you that you need to add those to the journal entry, to the journal as entries, so that when we collect those later, you would be given a certificate that you have completed this entire induction program. So this is compulsory for all the FYs. It is a mandatory process, and we are going to try to make it as interactive and as engaging for you, so that you remember it, and as and how you're proceeding through the most the significant years of your college life, you reflect on yourself, you grow as individuals. And then when we conduct SIP sessions for your juniors, we will call you all to interact with them and set an example for the upcoming batches too. So I thank you all for joining in from on behalf of the SIP team, and you will be meeting us, of course, in our regular classes and in the SIP sessions too. We're looking forward to a successful and an engaging program, and we want your cooperation too. You are uh, perhaps the most important thing to us in college, so we want your cooperation, and we hope that this would be something which would be fruitful and would set a precedent in the future as well. So thank you so much for joining in, and I wish you a good evening. I will see you tomorrow in college in classes, and any updates that we have from our end, we will communicate to you all. Okay, thank you so much for joining in. I think we can end the YouTube live as well.